Welcome to the Beau Show. It is with great sadness that I have to announce that Victoria's Secret is dead. No, the lingerie store did not go out of business. They actually got into business with the wokies so that they can redefine sexiness. And by redefine, I mean get rid of it. Last year, Victoria's Secret decided to cancel its famous annual fashion show that usually features tall, exotic models with wings blowing kisses. But that wasn't enough. They felt they needed to virtue signal, like a lot of companies are these days, and show you just how wonderfully woke they are. So they have retired the Victoria's Secret Angels, which used to be comprised of models like Giselle, Alessandra Ambrosio, Adriana Lima, Tyra Banks, Miranda Kerr, Carly Kloss, and Candace Swainpole, who I had the fortunate opportunity to meet in New York. She was lovely. But no. Victoria's Secret says the Angels must go. Taking their place is a group of 7 ambassadors called the VS Collective, who are known for advocacy, gender equality, body positivity, and different identities. Wow, how wonderfully progressive of them. Why don't they just sign up Kamala Harris right now? The collective, and by the way, can I just say that using the word collective already places them in Marxist verbiage territory. Let's all be one collective. Kumbaya. The collective features U.S. women's soccer star Megan Rapinoe, known for her outspoken lesbianism. Priyanka Chopra Jones, the girl who married a Jonas brother, and plus-size model Paloma Elsesser. I always thought that a Paloma was a grapefruit and tequila drink. I didn't realize that it made its way to VS territory. The CEO of Victoria's Secret, Martin Waters, said that this was a dramatic shift for the brand and one that they embrace. Yeah, Martin, that's a hell of a shift. Waters told the New York Times that he doesn't feel that the Angels are culturally relevant anymore. All right, now let's think about that. Not culturally relevant. For decades, centuries, women have been celebrated and fantasized about because they are women, because they have exhibited beauty, classiness, elegance, and sexiness, sometimes just through the genetic lottery. It's true that larger women or plus-size women have been heralded before at times in history as well, especially as depicted in classic art, perhaps as a nod to fertility. But the VS Angels were always the tops. They set the bar because they were these Amazons, these 6 feet tall women, many from Brazil and exotic places, who exuded exoticism, the hair, the smoldering eyes, the walk, the kiss. They just had it, man. In a CNN article, it was said that Victoria's Secret had been getting criticism for outdated ideas of femininity and clothes for a narrow range of body types. Now that's interesting because while American women may be larger than, say, Europe, especially considering that obesity is far worse in America than many other countries, what about the European countries where women are simply slimmer or more fit? Do they not count? Victoria's Secret market share of intimate apparel has been shrinking. So they're going to say that this was a business decision, and in part, it may be. But they're claiming it's due to outdated ideas of femininity, which I take issue with because many women out there love dressing and looking sexy. And when I say sexy, I mean to themselves, not to me or not to men. Women's own sexiness is built upon confidence, which is attractive to men. They may feel like they're dressing a certain way to get men's attention, but ultimately they have to feel good about themselves and look as hot as they want to be, regardless of what any guy thinks. Now, in 2018, Ed Razek, the chief marketing officer of Victoria's Secret, said that he didn't think transsexuals should be included in the annual show. Obviously, the LGBTQ community threw a fit, not the least of which was for using a term they didn't like, which was transsexual. They prefer transgender. And the next year, Victoria's Secret hired its first transgender model, who is now part of this VS Collective. Shocker. It's like you can almost predict this stuff. Someone makes some sort of politically incorrect faux pas about a particular identity, and next thing you know, that very identity is the one the company hires. Chris Harrison of The Bachelor would be Exhibit A. Valentina Sampaio, who is the transgender VS model, had the following to say. She says, quote, For a long time, Victoria's Secret set a powerful standard for aspiration and beauty in this country. And globally, that drove billions of dollars in sales and generated a lot of buzz for the company. But it was blind to how culture changed over the last decade, especially in the post-Me Too era. Today's shoppers want to see themselves in ads, and they want to know that brands have some kind of value system that aligns with theirs, end quote. What's interesting about this is that transgender people account for less than about 1% of the population. So when it is said that people want to see themselves in ads, surely she can't be talking about herself. And while everyone might want to feel they're represented, the whole point of having models, or even angels for that matter, is that they are the creme de la creme. Like, for instance, when I look at athletes like Peyton Manning or Patrick Mahomes or Sidney Crosby, it's not just another average guy. They are super athletes at the top of their game. They don't have love handles. They have muscle and supreme athletic ability. So average guys look up to that and see that that is something to aspire to. For me personally, I want to be in shape like them. Who wouldn't want to be? That's how I see masculinity. To aim for something. We always have to be aiming towards something. Others may see it differently, but that doesn't mean that Armani or Brioni need to sell suits for obese men. They don't have to. They have big and tall brands for those customers. But this idea that Victoria's Secret needs to redefine its image is silly, because when they said they have outdated notions of feminism, whom exactly have they focused group this with? You know, I know many, many women who are in great shape, take pride in it, go to the F45 and CrossFit and Orange Theory. They can outrun me, and they look like $1 million in swimwear. But you're going to tell those women that they're not feminine, or that their idea of femininity is outdated? If there's one thing that I know from having hosted pageants, especially in the Miss USA system, is that women love wearing elegant evening gowns as well as bikinis. And that's okay. But Miss America 2.0 got rid of the swimwear competition, which I think is actually ridiculous, because I bet if you polled the contestants, they'd want it back. A majority of them would probably want it back. They work hard on their bodies, and I know it because I worked out with someone who trains them, and it's hard as hell. I don't envy them. It's very hard. So who is Victoria's Secret to tell them they need to look like Megan Rapinoe to be included? Are you telling them to cut their hair or dye it purple? Are you telling them that being trans is cool or preferable? What if a girl actually does decide to switch genders? Is she, now he, going to be included in the VS collective? How exactly does that work? Once again, nobody thinks these things through. Even former angel Carly Kloss retired her angel wings in 2015, telling Vogue that she didn't feel that the VS angel image was an image she wanted to reflect, or an idea of what it means to be beautiful. So I checked out Carly's Instagram page, and it was more modeling pictures of her doing kissy face, plenty of makeup, and also a nice shout out to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I guess that's the image she wants to project. A VP who refuses to go to the border because she, hasn't sipped champagne in Paris yet. Give me a break. Another chosen one in this VS collective is Amanda de Cadenet. She also has several tributes to the great Kamala Harris on her Instagram page, as well as a repost of AOC's fake account of the January 6th events. Now, CEO Martin Waters has also said that, quote, we needed to stop being about what men want and to be about what women want. Honestly, who is this guy to say that? I have to ask again, what women were in this focus group? Did they do this poll at a Code Pink rally? How does he know that what women want and what men won't don't coincide? What if a woman's idea of sexiness is the same as a man's? What if she feels sexy not just because of how it makes her feel, but also because she feels desired? I know many women who still get their nails done, their eyebrows, Botox, implants, the whole 9 yards. And if that's what makes them feel happy and feminine and sexy, who am I to say otherwise? That's their choice. To be honest, I'm a bit shocked they have not added Hillary Clinton or Kamala Harris and Angela Merkel to their collective. Hey, maybe, Victoria's Secret can come out with a sexy line of pantsuits for this trio. And in the interest of equality, who exactly is allowed to be in the VS Collective if we do the equal representation thing? Or is it only for wokies? Because see, when you get this inclusive, you get exclusive. It's such a misnomer. The VS Collective is not for everyone. It is for certain people. They are changing the brand, and brand recognition is king. They are making value statements. And they say that it is to be more inclusive because people want a brand that aligns with their values. But what they are really doing is forcing a value system on you rather than the other way around. 50% of this country is conservative and 50% is liberal, as much as the radical left is trying to change that. So when they say this is an outdated idea of femininity, by whose standards? Just the liberal women? And even among that crowd, are there not physically fit, smoldering liberal women who don't embrace themselves as feminine and subscribe to that definition? You know, Megan Rapinoe has made some rather bombastic, unsavory political statements and complains quite a bit. But they seem to embrace that as part of their values. Would it be just as absurd if they chose a sexy, confident conservative woman? What if it were Kayleigh McEnany, Ivanka Trump, or Candace Owens? Do they qualify? I mean, hell, they are power women at the top of their game. So why are they not included in the VS Collective? If you are truly, truly going to be inclusive, put your money where your mouth is. Include everyone. I'd like to see Victoria's Secret comment on this. You know, Ivanka Trump has been highly successful in her life. She's pushed and pushed for female entrepreneurship and business, as well as paid maternity leave. She's very pro-woman, and she's tall and lovely and well-spoken. What's wrong with that? Do you see the hypocrisy here? It's really not that inclusive at all. I just see this whole Victoria's Secret move as a virtue signal, which, ironically, think of the letters, VS. Stands for virtue signal. The VS Collective is the virtue signaling collective. No, not about individual expression, but about a collectivist idea and clique that you must subscribe to in order to be a part of it. You have to embrace lesbianism, transgenderism, and liberalism as a part of feminism. I mean, if they truly wanted to expand the notion of feminism, you have to represent everybody, do you not? There are many women out there who admire, let's say, Sarah Huckabee Sanders for being such a tough female press secretary. And she may not be the traditional VS angel as we have seen in the past, but she's certainly worthy of respect, and she is an activist and would reflect a more diverse collection. Why didn't they ask her to be a part of this? What it tells me is that, number one, Victoria's Secret is losing market share, and this gave them an impetus to virtue signal. Now, if their sales skyrocket this year, which they won't, then you could say, hey, okay, good business move, because that's what it's all about, right? But that won't happen. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Victoria's Secret clothes need to be exclusively for size 2 women. Not at all. But they aren't merely expanding the line to include more sizes. They are making a point. They go full tilt woke. Rather than getting Alex Morgan from the U.S. women's soccer team, who in my estimation is classically beautiful and could probably be a Victoria's Secret angel, even if she weren't a gold medal soccer player. But they opt instead for liberal feminist Megan Rapinoe. They have chosen identity politics. To each individual woman, empowerment and femininity mean different things. Victoria's Secret has generalized that, and they told women what they should desire and embrace. What if women want to dress a certain way for their man? That is pretty much scientific for those who always want to tout science. This is just simple biology. Is that inherently bad or outdated? Or is it just what makes them feel sexy? See, I think they're trying to upend gender roles, when in actuality, some people out there prefer traditional gender roles. And for a company to tell them, no, you have a misguided notion of what makes you inherently you, is to actually discriminate and exclude them. It's like what I said in my last show last week about Roger Waters of Pink Floyd telling Mark Zuckerberg, no, we don't want your thought control. And that's exactly what Zuckerberg was going to do. You see the logic here? In being inclusive, they are being exclusive. Remember that companies like Victoria's Secret, they set styles and attitudes, not the other way around. So when they say they are trying to do something that is in line with their customers, they are actually merely forcing those values rather than listening and responding. I mean, sure, they are listening to some women, but those are the loud, barking mad ones that are a slim, slim minority who just want their way or the highway. They did not focus group hot, fit, conservative, independent women who like Vicky's Secret. Their values are not being reflected in this change. And we know this because of the VS Collective models that they have chosen. You know, now that I think about it, here's another suggestion for the VS Collective. Ayaan Hirsi Ali, the American-Dutch Somali activist who speaks out against the horrors of political Islam and what it does to women. Though she's not really pro-Palestine though, so VS might not be able to include her. It's not in vogue right now. Or what about Nikki Haley, the first female governor of South Carolina? She's Indian as well, and former ambassador to the United Nations. Now, I've supplied Victoria's Secret with a number of names here that would be perfectly viable for their new collective, but I guess they didn't get the call. That is what I mean by exclusivity. Companies like Victoria's Secret continue to try to push culture to the far left and redefine norms. I just find it hypocritical to tell all women what femininity should be, because it is so individualistic and specific to every woman. You can make clothing accessible to more people in more sizes without forcing a value system. All people really want are options. They don't need the preaching. And if you're going to be truly inclusive, you have to include everyone, as in the other 50% of America or even the world who isn't a neolib. I think it would be bold of a brand to do this, to say, hey, we believe in free speech and expression and including everybody. Now that's progressive, or really should I say more accurately, classically liberal, with a small l, not the capital L liberalism we see today. I don't disagree that consumers wish to see their values align with a brand, but then that brand has to ensure it isn't cutting its nose off to spite its face by excluding the values of current or would-be customers. I'm not really sure what will happen exactly with Victoria's Secret sales numbers this year following this big change-up, but they are making value statements now more than ever. If they used to be about sexiness, now they're about activism and a certain brand of activism. That's a secret Victoria no longer has. I'm Beau, and that's the show.